After recently completing The Witcher 3, the illustrious Western RPG that has become the consensus game of the year for 2015, and Final Fantasy XV, the long-awaited next installment in the most prominent JRPG franchise to date, the disparity between the Western and Japanese RPG genres became unambiguous. It's a common misconception that because Western and Japanese RPGs are under the large umbrella of the RPG genre, that they are somehow identical. But Western and Japanese RPGs are as contrasting as first and third person shooters. This is largely due to how dissimilar Western and Japanese cultures are. Some of the most prominent Western RPGs in recent years, such as the Elder Scrolls series, the Mass Effect trilogy, and the Witcher trilogy, all share a few intermutual characteristics, the most noteworthy being that they are all more grounded in realism. In regard to the visuals, when compared to JRPGs, Western RPGs have more realistic graphics with drab and often dull color schemes. On the contrary, renowned Japanese RPGs such as Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, Pokemon, and The Legend of Zelda all have more vivid, rich color schemes and graphics that are far less realistic. Inafune, a former Capcom developer and game director for the Mega Man series, stated that these differences in style came about because most Japanese people grew up watching anime and reading manga, whereas most Westerners grew up with more realistic shows and movies, and thus they prefer a more realistic visual style in their games. Western RPGs tend to allow the player to customize their character's looks and name, as well as choices that impact the course of the story. Many Western RPGs place a major emphasis on choice. Do I kill this character or let him live? Do I nuke Tenpenny Tower or spare it? Do I throw this baby in the oven or not? Games like Fallout and Mass Effect blur the lines between good and evil. The choices you make have consequences and a direct impact on how the story plays out, as well as how it ends. Japanese RPGs have a predefined story with minimal or inconsequential choices. You're essentially just watching the story unfold, while having little to no impact on it. The main character is usually predefined and unchangeable for the most part, and the stories tell a tale of a quest to save the world from a powerful evil foe. The main character usually joins up with a party of sorts, making friends and gaining partners along the way. The player watches and guides these characters as they forge bonds and achieve their predetermined, destined victory. Important choices add fun and unpredictability to RPGs. They increase replayability as well, but clear-cut endings in many cases lead to a deeper, more focused cinematic experience. JRPGs are more commonly turn-based, or at least have some sort of turn-based function. They tend to be more linear with minimal exploration and shallow side quests. Western RPGs are for the most part heavily action-oriented and rarely ever turn-based. The worlds are often large and very open. The side quests are deeper and more interesting, with small stories of their own to tell. A perfect example of how the importance of side quests and open worlds differs between these two genres can be seen when comparing Final Fantasy XV and The Witcher 3. Both are action-oriented with open worlds. Final Fantasy XV has a very dead open world with not much going on. Characters can often be seen standing around or walking back and forth, while saying the same dialogue repeatedly or saying nothing at all. The Witcher 3 has a much more lively open world. Children can be seen playing, animals running about, NPCs having conversations. The Witcher 3 also has more interesting side quests that flesh out and establish characters who are insignificant or altogether irrelevant to the main story. These small self-contained stories make fetch quests and monster hunts far less tedious and much more entertaining. Final Fantasy XV, on the other hand, is the polar opposite on the side quest front. Hunts are nothing more than going, killing a monster, returning, and collecting the reward. Fetch quests consist of capturing frogs, taking pictures of specific areas, and collecting items NPCs have requested. They contain no side story beyond a simple reason for the NPC requesting your help with their trivial matters. Touching on the combat quickly, Final Fantasy XV has combat that is simple at its core, but can fool the player or spectator at first with Noctis' flashy moves for each weapon. The Witcher 3's combat is not very flashy at all and very simple. To close out this video, I just want to quickly talk about the development differences between JRPGs and Western RPGs. Western RPGs are usually developed with PC as their primary platform of concern. Not only because the games can achieve the best performance and visual fidelity on the PC, but it is primarily due to the fact that PC is very big in the West. JRPGs are often, more times than not, designed around consoles, portable consoles, and mobile touchscreen devices. Gaming on the go has become extremely popular in Japan. as most Japanese gamers want to play games on the train while on their way to work, and as a result, developers have focused on making their games available on the go. This is why handhelds like the PlayStation Vita and the Nintendo 3DS are often referred to as JRPG machines. JRPGs developed for mobile consoles and handheld devices are designed to be played in short bursts, whereas home console RPGs are created to deliver a much more monumental cinematic experience. Whether you prefer Western or Japanese RPGs is entirely subjective, as most things are. Personally, I prefer Western RPGs for the immense open worlds and the deep side quests, but if you're a type of person that focuses on the main story as your primary concern, then Japanese RPGs are for you. But that's all I got for today. Like, dislike, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you guys later.